Hi guys, this is Lashette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm back with a new video. This is my mid-November reading wrap-up, where I talk about the first half of the books I read in the month of November 2021. The first book I finished in the month of November was Monstress Volume 4, The Chosen, by Marjorie and Yulee, and illustrated by Hitomi Takano. This is a graphic novel series that I've been reading digitally through my library apps, but greatly enjoying it. Every time I go back and forth whether I want to categorize it as fantasy or sci-fi. I don't know, but in this series we're following Micah, who is a young girl who was injured after this great war. In this series kind of takes place in this alternate history Asia, I think it's the 1900s. The artwork and the styling is very steampunk meets Art Deco, so the artwork is the best I've ever seen in a graphic novel, comic book, manga, manhwa, any of this like form of book. It's mind-blowing. So there's that. Like, there's always amazing points, like the lighting and the drama and just the detail, because Art Deco on its own is a very detailed style, and then steampunk on its own is a very detailed style. Throw in the fact that this is a world where there are various types of beings. There are humans, there are like these hybrid people, Arcanics, and they're half animal, half humanoid, and the artwork for each individual is very detailed. There are these like cat people who are not the hybrids. They look like cats, they're cat sized, but they have multiple tails, and they are each unique, even those who are just in the background. And there are these gods and monsters as well. Again, each character is so very detailed and unique. But in this world, like I said, we're following Micah. There's been this great war, and we're kind of in this lull. And Micah is in search for her mother and her mother's secrets. And as we go deeper into the story, we find out more about Micah and what her mother was up to, which was a lot more than Micah had suspected. Micah's like a teenager, but having been through so much trauma, this is definitely an adult series. There is violence, and it's graphic. I don't know, I would go so far to say as gory, but there is graphic violence. There are some not sex scenes, but like the before and after kind of. So know that sex has been had. And there's a lot of political machinations going on, and, you know, factions and things like that. So in this one, Micah meets someone unexpected for her and all of us. And, I didn't mention, the title of the book is called Monstress because Micah has something inside of her that is, something other people want. And relieved for one particular character who is my favorite because they're absolutely adorable and like amazing, and they're okay. After the last book, I was very concerned, but yeah, we met someone new as a surprise, and they threw all kinds of wrenches in the works. So now, who knows what's happening? I enjoy this always. I gave it 4 stars just because I'm still confused, honestly. I think I really need to read this back to back. I'm only confused because of certain, like, the political story. Like, it's hard to describe. I know other people have a hard time describing it, but I really need to sit down and look at all of the parties, the groups, because someone showed up in this and I was like, wait, I recognize her, but who is she again? Like, why is she important? Because I couldn't remember. Yeah. So I would personally recommend that you read these issues as close to each other as possible. I do not believe this series is complete yet though, so, but I have I think 4 or 5 more volumes to read before I catch up to what's already published. The next book I read in the month of November was My Androgynous Boyfriend, Volume 1 by Tamekou, story and art by Tamekou. And I picked this and the next one up because my library, New York Public Library, their Twitter account, they post like recommendations list. And one I saw was Slice of Life manga, which I really had wanted to try and get into. And last month, if you watched my previous videos, I wanted to participate and get graphic with it. This and the next one, I requested from the library, but then went on vacation, so I didn't get them in time and therefore couldn't read them. But I still wanted to. So we're following Wako, or is it Waco? Let's go with Wako, because Wako is a normal 20-something-year-old woman with a kind of boring office desk job. I personally don't find it completely boring. I think she works for a magazine of some sort, and she works very hard and then comes home and basically passes out from tiredness or whatever. But she is dating Tamekou, who is her androgynous boyfriend. And slice of life manga, there's no like big plot thing happening. We're just watching people go through their lives, and this is what I wanted. I was interested because look at this cover, like, and then I was subsequently disappointed because it's all in black and white, but I should have known better because most manga are in black and white. Only special issues or special pages are in color, but that's okay. They're still cute. I really wanted it in color just because, like, as reading it, learning about how Tamekou is very interested in fashion, and he paints his nails and colors his hair and does all these interesting style stuff, but you can't really see it in the manga itself. So that was a big disappointment for me. But this manga, it says teen on the back here for the English version, but I believe this falls into the josei category, which is for manga for older teens and women and adult women. So I think this definitely would appeal to like the teen to new adult, even early adult, new adult, early adult, like my age. Obviously, I'm 30-something. So, yeah, it was fresh. It was fun. Not a lot happens, but I feel like we'll get more into the characters and their motivations and all of that stuff her life and whatnot. There was some cute and funny moments, and honestly, that's what I wanted, and that's what I got. Like, it delivered, so I gave it 4 stars. The 1 star was mostly because, like I said, there's, oh my god, Mekuru, you're wearing this, that, and the other. And then he works at this shop, and it's like, oh, they hired him because of his style, and he shows off the clothes and all of that kind of stuff. Or he gets interviewed at one point, like an influencer, and they talk about like the stuff that he's influenced a little bit, but you can't really see it here. Even when they talk about that stuff, the shots are more close up, so you can't even see his outfits. But yeah, I don't know. Wako is cute and funny. Mekuru is a sweetheart, and you could tell that they are in love. It's a cute love. So it is a romance. And it's translated by Jocelyn Allen. So, like I said, 4 stars for this one. The next book I finished was another manga, My Boy. This is by Hitomi Takano. Translated, I am going to try not to butcher this. It's translated by Kumar Sivasu Brahmanian. Sivasu Brahmanian. So, that's who translated it into English. This one is a little bit different. I wasn't sure about this when I decided to request it from the library, but I said, let's give this a shot. Because the synopsis was very like, huh? Obviously, this is a slice of life manga, and oddly enough, it's supposed to be seinen, so I'm not sure that makes it awkward to me, because seinen is like josei but men, so like older male teens and adult men, and I don't know, like from an American perspective, like American males, I can't say that none would enjoy this, but I can't see this as marketed towards them. But that's me. I don't know. Anyway, so in this we're following Sakoto, who's a 30-year-old office worker. She's a little stressed with her job. Her ex has joined her company and is now her superior, and that's annoying to her, I think. And then we have a 12-year-old boy, Mashu Hayami, who she meets on the street. It seems like 2 lonely people meeting. It seems like Mashu is kind of a neglected kid, and Makoto kind of becomes this big sister figure to him, and that's it. Like, it's still slice of life. It's still like her going to work and dealing with work things and awkwardness, and then coming across this kid on the street who's like playing soccer by themselves, and it's slowly opening up. Like, this is only volume 1. I think there are 9 volumes of this, so I definitely feel like we'll get deeper into the story. And it's just kind of odd that, like, they have no connection except that she accidentally, on her route one day, not her normal one, came across this boy and has kind of sort of decided to adopt him unofficially, and no other adult figure is aware of this. And that's okay. She hasn't done anything wrong per se, more his parent has, but it was awkward to me. I didn't hate it. It was interesting. I definitely want to get more. I was also a little bit confused at points, mainly with Sakoto, because of the thing with her job and her ex. Like, I think I got it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if you've read this. Like, let me know if he was kind of low-key harassing her at work in the very beginning, before the dinner. So I don't want to say anything else because spoilers. But yeah, this has more depth than my Androgynous Boyfriend, which was like more cute and funny, and very modern. Not that this isn't modern, but this is, you know, modern as it has been for like decades. There's definitely more of a plot thread, like this is going somewhere. Their relationship with each other and how they're feeling about their lives, and that kind of thing. Whereas my Androgynous Boyfriend, there is, like I said, there seemed to be something towards the end of that was like, oh, maybe this is a little bit more, but that's okay. So I gave my boy 3.5 stars, and that's, like I said, because I wasn't sure about it, and there was a chunk of Sakoto's life that I was confused by. So I hope the next one helps me clarify things. So the next book I finished in the month of November was Asking For It by Lilah Pace. This is book 1 in the Asking For It series, which is a duology. I already requested Begging For It because while I didn't know in the beginning of this, by the end I was like, nah, I need the rest of this story. Okay, this was the other BDSM recommendation I got from Heather at Hia Booktubes. So this is adult romance, a dark romance. Content warnings, trigger warnings for rape fantasies, rape, and molestation. The rape and molestation happened in the past. They are described, so be aware. We're dealing with, though they don't realize it, 2 traumatized people for different reasons or different events, but they dovetail obviously into the sexual assault. We have Vivian, who is a grad student at Austin, Texas University. I don't remember which one. And we've got, what's his name? Jonah, who is a professor in Earth Sciences department, which is not Vivian's department. So there's no like professor-student direct thing there. They're like, they are, but it's not a trope really in this. Vivian's sex life is awkward because she has rape fantasies. She can only orgasm in a certain type of sexual situations, and she recently broke up with her very nice boyfriend because of that. And at a mutual friend's party, he gets drunk and reveals that he's sorry that he cannot fulfill her sexual assault fantasies. And everyone around hears. Some people believe it, others don't. But anyway, also at that party is Jonah, and they already knew that they were like attracted to each other. Like, I don't know this stranger person, but something about them. He approaches her and he's like, on the low, I do as well. Do you want to try and create those sexual situations? And she's like, hell no, you crazy dude. Thank you. But then she goes home and thinks about it, and thinks about it, and thinks about it. They meet up and talk about it, and come up with a safe word and the rules and all of that stuff, and then proceed to have this sexual relationship. But we're getting everything from Vivian's point of view. Vivian is a sexual assault survivor of the molestation, but she is not believed. Jonah definitely has some trauma of his own, but we don't know what that is. He's very much the silent type. He doesn't have a lot of friends. He's a very intense person. He disappears at times. And I know this guy is starting to sound like Deacon, but it's not. He's definitely more social than Deacon is, and he talks a whole lot more. But Jonah's job is really cool in this, and I always like that. I feel like it happens more in contemporary romances. Maybe it's just my experiences. The reveal for Jonah is at the very, very end, and I was not expecting that at all. Like, I'm actually getting a little teary-eyed because that is horrendous. What happened to Vivian was bad enough, and then the aftermath of all these years, but maybe I'm desensitized or whatever. I was just like, whatever it is with Jonah, it's not the same, and it's got to be really, really fucked up. And it is. And so I'm assuming begging for it is then where they're dealing with that. But the sexual relationship was like the first half of the book, and it was like, okay, so you're working through things, and eventually you're going to reveal whatever to each other, but it's, where's this going? Like, what's the point of this? Especially since we're not getting Jonah's point of view or anything. The situations, the sex was good. How they handled it was very interesting and all of that. But I was just like, well, what's all of this? They do eventually start a relationship, and I like that. Like, you guys want to be sexually fulfilled, I get that, but that's not all of life. Yes, you have your careers or whatever. But I also felt like in the beginning, the secondary and tertiary characters were very, like, flat. They were all there, and it was just like, well, why? They felt like set up for the sex scenes. Because it's like, oh, all of a sudden Vivian's going to this fancy party with her ex and her friend, and they're chatting, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, so there's gonna be sex soon, because why else do we care about this party? Because it wasn't mentioned before this. There's one character who is very nosy and very kind of stereotypical gay, which I was just rolling my eyes at. Like, why are you all up in the business? Like, this, and I said, that's gonna come back and bite her in the ass, this friend, and how they do things. So, anyway, I enjoyed it. Definitely gonna read the second one. Definitely recommend this if this is something you think you would like and you can handle the content of. The last book I'm going to talk about that I've read this month is Desperate Measures by Katee Roberts. This is book 1 in the Wicked Villains series. These are kind of not retellings, but sexy erotica, where Disney princesses wind up with the villains rather than the heroes or Prince Charming like they do in the Disney movies. So this first book Desperate Measures, we're following Jafar and Jasmine from Aladdin. Aladdin himself is a really, really bad guy in this. I was kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of disappointed. Maybe I wasn't quite in the mood for this. This is definitely like erotica. There's a lot of sex scenes. And yes, there are a lot of sex scenes and asking for it. But I was very interested in the plot, and this is very short. The sex scenes took up a lot. It was like, I was disappointed in Jafar. There was like an attempt at character development, but not really. Like, it never exactly went anywhere. So anyway, the series is set in Carver City, I think. It doesn't say on the back. Keep looking. But it's set in a contemporary setting. Carver City. There's this club called Underworld run by Hades from Hercules. Anyway, and all the city's bad people meet there and do their business because it's kind of like a neutral location. Jasmine's father was this big wig businessman and also bad guy, like a crime boss. And Jafar was his second, like in Aladdin. And Jafar kills him and takes over, and one of the spoils of that is Jasmine herself, who has never been let out of the compound by her father. She wasn't allowed to go to school or anything like that. And she's basically like, she's traded one cage for another, even though she's always been attracted to Jafar. In the background, there is Ali, who she was promised to by her father, and he's coming after her, but he doesn't care. Jafar is like, he wants her, he likes her, he finds her sexually attractive, he wants her to build his own empire, but that's it. That's all he will admit to himself. But like, he's always like, oh, he likes that she fights back and her fiery energy or whatever, but she can't leave his house or his apartment now. She has to do what he says and wear what he wants her to wear and all of this stuff. Blah, 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 right? But no, like, he wants to give her everything and wants her to find her freedom and blah, blah, blah. But no, she can't do anything. And I'm just like, dude, what? The ending of this kind of caught me off guard because it didn't seem like it was gonna go there. I'm glad it did, but it didn't seem like it was going to. And then because of what happened, Jafar just kind of lets it, I guess. This is probably very confusingly vague for those who haven't read this, so I was hoping for better. But I'm glad how things ended for Jasmine, and I do want to read the rest, maybe more in the mood. It will help. So I gave this 3 stars, and that's it. That's the last book I'm going to talk about in this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. What did you think of them? And how is your reading going this month? What did you read in the first half of the month? What's your favorite book so far? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've gotten this far in the video and you want to help out, leave me a little snake emoji in the comments. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you are new. Hit that notification bell so you know when the next recent reads video comes out. I have a lot of videos coming for the end of the year, and in January all of my wrap up for 2021 videos come out. So subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when those videos drop. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.